Shalom. So I am actually here with Teo and Anthony in real life, and I was fuming, and they're like, make a video. And it's like, well, okay. So I'm going to stop fuming and I'm going to actually make a video. So George Soros has been on the news because Elon Musk called him out for the evil POS that he is. And then the ADL does what rich, privileged Jews always do, which is yell anti Semitism when there's no anti Semitism involved because they, it's cheap coin to them. The Holocaust is cheap coin for them. The anti-Semitism is cheap coin for them. They don't actually have to live with any of the repercussions of the things that they do in the name of Judaism because they're absolutely uninvolved with Judaism. And this guy, Joel Swanson, his response, I got into an online thing, and his response just takes the cake. This is his thing. PhD candidate in history of Judaism and religious studies, called horrible, quote, horrible, by the New York Young Republican Club, and secularist Satanist by Breitbart. He, him, his. Of course, Zuby's razor. I have to wonder where he's supposedly getting this PhD candidate, this PhD in history of Judaism and religious studies. Frankly, the guy, I mean, he's almost a parody of himself. Poe's law may in fact apply, and I might find out that he's not actually Jewish. He's just pretending to be Jewish in order to stoke anti-Semitism, because I couldn't find where on Breitbart he's been called a secularist Satanist. But okay, so this is the problem. One of the problems. There are rich Jews who have almost no connection to Judaism whatsoever. If they go to synagogue at all, they go to some sort of reform or conservative, usually not even conservative, probably reconstructionist or humanist or some stupid thing. And so Judaism means nothing to them in terms of the actual religion and its teachings. It's an ethnicity. And because it's an ethnicity, they always go by the racist standards of what a Jew is, right? You are a Jew no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter what you believe, no matter how you were raised, because for them, Jew is it's their religion is the Holocaust. And Adolf Hitler is who defines for them what Judaism is and what Judaism means. And who a Jew is whoever Adolf Hitler said is a Jew. And evil, good and evil, is all only in that narrative, right? If you were, they have no sense of actual Jewish history. I can't believe this guy claims to be a PhD candidate in history of Judaism and religious studies, because where the conversation went is precisely where somebody who has zero knowledge of Judaism, zero knowledge of the history of Jews, zero knowledge of what it means to live in the Jewish community as part of the Jewish community. Yet, so many of these secular, and it's complete white privilege. They claim to be Jewish because it's a convenient it's the most convenient oppressed minority. They can claim some form of relationship with, but they don't actually have any real Jewish connection whatsoever. And just to explain what happened. So religious Jews would say, stop calling George Soros a Jew. And there is no and component of anti-Semitism in criticizing George Soros. And there isn't. Because George Soros is not part of the Jewish community. He has never been a part of the Jewish community. His family were secular Jews. They spent the Holocaust, I don't know about his parents, but he spent the Holocaust living with Gentiles who pretended that he was their child, which, okay. And look, you're going through the Holocaust. You have to do things like that. And I'm not going to criticize his parents. There were plenty of parents who left their kids at convents. There were plenty of parents who left their kids at orphanages, and there were plenty of people who pretended to be Gentiles. The fact is that some percentage of the third of Jews in the world who disappeared during World War II disappeared because, and I know people to this day who know that they are Jewish, know that their family, same story as Madeleine Albright, but these people actually know. And honestly, Paul Vanderklay, similar thing happened with his family. They came to the United States and they stopped being Jewish. That is not in any way to say that the 6 million number is inflated. We have the name of 4.5 million people who were murdered in the Holocaust. Any debate about the actual numbers of the 6 million is like 5.75 million, 6.25 million. That's not where I'm going, okay? But what happens in this discussion, and here, let me read what I wrote, and let me read what he originally wrote is, I wish the many people who say this would just be honest and say that they're wishing for a world in which the Shoah had claimed one more Jewish child victim. He means George Soros. That would have been the alternative to what Soros had to do to survive. Let's just be clear here. He's saying that doing anything in order to survive is okay. And that's just not true. That's not a Jewish value. And that's where a lot of these things have gone, including people quoting all kinds of things. I can't even respond to all the responses, and there have been many, which have said Jewish values go against what I enunciate here. Now, there's a nuanced discussion to be had, and certain people have DM'd me and said that they're interested in coming on You know what? I am going to include the invite here. If somebody who is knowledgeable wants to come on with their camera on, that's fine. But he believes that doing anything is okay in order to survive. And that is not a Jewish value. And I had somebody responding to me, martyrdom? Jews don't believe in martyrdom. Jews don't believe in martyrdom? Jews don't believe in martyrdom? Now what you're saying is, you say what you're saying clearly. You wish more Jews had pretended to be Gentiles, had been complicit at least in the Holocaust than were. That's what you're saying. And it's a privilege that only those Jews who can pass. And that's why what I'm calling white privilege. Yeah, you can pass. You can decide that you don't want to be a part of, well, if you're not an Orthodox Jew with a beard and peot, and you don't look Jewish enough, you can have, and certainly if you weren't circumcised, you can pass. But guess what? There are Jews who are so committed to Judaism that they can't just pass. And what he's saying is, in a room where there's a Nazi with a gun, the Jew who's pretending to be a Gentile and saying nothing is more virtuous than the Jew who had no choice in the matter, much less the Jew who decided that he wasn't going to pretend not to be Jewish. That's what you're saying, Joel Swanson, PhD candidate in history of Judaism and religious studies. And so what I responded was, let me be perfectly clear. I much prefer the martyrs who died rather than betrayed our people to save themselves. Yehareg val Yavor means something to me. It is the first thing that we teach in Jewish education. Yehareg val Yavor. And it is the first thing we teach adults. We don't teach it in kindergarten. But it is the first thing we teach adults. Because guess what? Lo achat bilvad amdu aleinu lechalotenu, ela bechol dor v'dor omdim aleinu lechalotenu, v'hakadosh baruch hu matzilenu miyadam. I have that memorized from the Passover Haggadah, from the Passover services, that basically, if anything you have memorized, it's likely to be that. It was not once that they stood against us to try to destroy us, but in every generation they stand against us to destroy us, and it is the Lord who saves us from their hands. This is an integral part of what it means to be Jewish, is Yehareg val Yavor. There are things we will not do to survive. And those three things are the three cardinal sins in Judaism are sexual immorality, idolatry, and murder. So no, it is not justifiable to participate in the murder of others in order to save your life. It is also not permissible as a form of idolatry to deny that you are Jewish in order to save your life, although many people have done it throughout the generations, and we have always accepted those people back. Well, almost all communities have, but many communities have not. And for a PhD candidate in the history of Judaism and religious studies is he pretending he doesn't know this? Is he pretending he doesn't know this? And this was his response. It's better for Jews to die in the Shoah than for a Jewish teenager to disguise himself under Nazi occupation to survive. Is so far away from my moral framework that I don't even know how to engage with it. He doesn't even know how to engage with it. And the fact is, the reason he doesn't know how to engage with it is because he has that white privilege. It is his white privilege to pass. And it is a privilege that we as Jews are not supposed to, in fact, exercise. And it is a privilege that circumcision took away from many, many people. Watch the movie Europa, Europa. And the fact that this man claims to speak for Judaism, claims to be an expert in Judaism, he, him, his, should tell you everything you know. And that's what made my blood boil. Interesting topic. Do you think it's a generational phenomenon? It is a generational phenomenon. It is definitely something that that the rich Jews, and it's what's happening today in New York, right? You have the very, very rich Jews who don't wear a yarmulke, who oftentimes don't even look Jewish in any appreciable way. The funny thing is, a lot of them have started using very Jewish names, specifically in order to claim Judaism when it's convenient. And they're rich. They don't ride the subways. They don't walk the streets of New York. Whereas it's the Hasidic Jews, it's the Orthodox Jews, it's the Jews who wear a yarmulke, have a beard, have payas, right? And Ariel, it's beyond Pikuach Nefesh versus Kiddush Hashem. It's Chilul Hashem versus Kiddush Hashem. It is Chilul Hashem versus Kiddush Hashem. For them, Judaism is a game that they play. And so when Jews are being attacked on the subways, when Jews at Hanukkah, Hasidic Jews at Hanukkah parties are being murdered, it doesn't affect these people. So anti-Semitism is cheap coin to them. And Joel Swanson, PhD candidate, is selling Jews cheaply, is selling Jewish blood cheaply. I invited him to come and respond, but he doesn't even know how to engage with Judaism. Mr. PhD candidate in Jewish history. Do rich people of other ethnicities also have the privilege? Honestly, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But it's the fact that he can take it off anytime he wants, which allows him not to even consider the ethics of what happens if I, as a Jew, have to deal not after the fact, but during something like the Shoah with what happens in the Holocaust, or as Ariel says, with Sephardic Jews. This is something that has happened over and over again in Jewish history. Over and over again. Prepare yourself for one of Jacob's greatest hits. It's what Paul of Tarsus did. It's what Paul of Tarsus did.
There it is.
During the time of the Romans. To the Jews I came as a Jew, and to the Gentiles I came as a Gentile. Sorry.
Are we unmuted now?
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Chat, can you hear us?
Wow.
Well, now that we're no longer muted, I was just saying, our Jacob is busy, so the Brits are taking over his channel. We are now running the show.
Yeah.
We will not be putting any input on the Jewish conversation, so you can ignore the title of the stream for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Let's see.
Anthony, how was the trip?
You know what? Having never been on a flight that's 12 hours, 11 hours, 12 hours long, it went a lot better than I thought. I thought it'd be quite difficult, but yeah, it wasn't bad.
And first thoughts on Los Angeles thus far?
Ooh. It's like being in GTA. It's like, you know, that there was a van that drove past us that was like a Mad Max van that was dented and scratched. There was like tape around the windows. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll second that. It's like playing San Andreas in real life.
Hey, look at this one here. Estuary in Britain. Hey, secret name.
Oh, secret name.
Yes.
I want to visit your estuary sometimes when you're back in Britain.
Whereabouts?
Yeah,
Whereabouts in
whereabout-
Britain, roughly? North, south? GTI. That's my accent. Sorry, lads. Sorry, guys. Why, hello there. Yes, I meant to say GTA 5. Does that help? Totally doesn't.
Oh my god, that's the comment of the day so far. This I'm gonna star it. Jacob can see that. Oh, I see what you're responding to now. What's popping, Chow? What's popping? Jacob will come.
London.
Jacob. Oh,
So, I'm up in Manchester, but Teo's recently moved down to London. So, you might have better luck catching up with Teo.
secret name. If you're on the Discord, drop me a message on Discord because I am in London and I am looking to start an estuary in London. But there's also one in Birmingham if you can get to that.
Everybody knows Teo already.
Let's go.
It's been a very abrupt change of topic, I've got to say.
What are you guys talking about?
Well,
No.
we were muted for the first
Yeah, we
5
spent the
minutes. We
first
didn't
5 minutes
know.
ranting, but we're muted. All right, Jacob's back. We'll get back to the Jewish talk.
Leave it, baby. Those are actually still wet. If you could spread them out so that, yeah, it dries.
Please.
Yeah. Well, you could spread it. You could spread it on the bed. Yes, we are all there. We are all going to Chino. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, so Spartan. Yes, Jacob came as 2 people. Yes, they let Teo into the country. Hello, Laura. Bazani likes the title. And now all 4 of us have been on camera. Shadow
Shadow just
decided.
came on
Yeah,
camera?
Shadow decided. Okay.
Yeah, because we described being in LA as playing GTA. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Teo, we are all in Los Angeles. By the way, I mean Trey. Trey, if you want, we might be going to the comedy club tonight. Yeah, we might be going to the comedy club tonight. So if you're interested, let me know.
But before we do,
A couple of redcoats untie Jacob already.
The British are coming.
The British are coming. The British are coming. How many guys fit in Jacob's place? 1. These poor guys. Yeah, it's definitely a 1-bedroom. I guess my point, Jacob, is that Paul created a religion and tried to get everyone to follow him. But the persecution against Jews at the time by the Romans wasn't any better than the Christians. See, this is an absolute lie. At the time of Paul, there was the persecution of the Jews was far, far worse than Hellenized Jews. At the time of Paul, there was the reason people didn't want to get circumcised. I mean, it wasn't just the physical. It's not like nobody was getting tattoos or like piercings or getting cut in various ways to prove their affiliation with other religions. It was being identified as a Jew which made circumcision such an important part of why people did not want to become Trey may be up. So Trey, if you want to come over to my place, we'll have a party.
Hey.
Yeah. Although, isn't it like midnight for you guys right now?
Oh, and I've been up since 4 a.m. as well, so it'll be getting to 24 hours.
You guys might want to take a nap.
Is that permanent or is that?
Well, no, actually, you know what? The best way to get over jet lag
Keep
is
pushing through.
just stay up until.
Especially when you've been prescribed ADHD medication, keep me away.
Who were seen as Jews disloyal to their own God and who were trying to create a new religion, as opposed to like the God-fearers. Like, no, I'm sorry, it's not. The God-fearers who were not getting circumcised, like being circumcised would not have improved their. Actually, you know what? This is funny. So, part of the discussions I've been having with Father Stephen DeYoung include why exactly what was the fight over circumcision, and honestly, one of the reasons people didn't want to get circumcised was because they didn't want to be identified as Jews. There were Jews who were reversing their circumcision at the time.
I'm sorry, I've got a
Yes.
question. How do you reverse the circumcision?
It's called Mashiach, stretching.
Oh.
Yes.
And I'm going to interrupt again. So you said about circumcision. You could describe it as a dick measuring contest.
And on that note, we're going to the shops. Anything we need to know?
When you come back, you need to know my last name to call up from the front to. Actually, you know what? I am going to end the stream, and we'll go together. You guys want to say goodbye? Bye, everybody.